Guys, let's go between the hedges for game number 2. Alabama 24, Georgia 21. Parks, Georgia got caught chasing points late in that game, and it cost him. Kirby Smart, for all his accolades, for all his championships, now 1-7 against the Tide, and he's 0-2 against DeBoer. What was your biggest takeaway from this game?
First off, it just feels like, when can we have the conversation that this is just Kirby Smart's number team, right? Like, they've just got him. Yeah. This is an Alabama team that 3 weeks ago we were talking about, throw them to the pasture. They lost to Florida State. This is just a bad team. They'll never be that Saban team again. And then all of a sudden, here we are between the hedges. Georgia loses their first home game in however many years. Mm-hmm. And it's a Kalen DeBoer coach team. And they played exceptionally well. I think Ty Simpson's got to get the credit he deserves, right? The Georgia defense, man, they had their opportunities to get off the field at some points, especially even late in that game, right? You burn all those timeouts. What a play call out of Alabama to the fake rollout pass right just for a gain of 7 to get down and end the game. So it's a lot. It kind of goes back to the Penn State-Oregon narrative for me is I take more positive away from Alabama. Like, I still think Georgia's going to be Georgia. That just might be Kirby's number team, in my opinion. What a game, though. No letdown out of the SEC this week, I would say. I think there was even some battles lower on the slate that panned out to be great. JP?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. JP, I'd love to know kind of what you thought about Ty Simpson, especially 24, 38, 276, 2 touchdowns.
I think at one point they were 7 of 7 on third down, and it was all levels of third down. It wasn't consistently 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3. It was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8. We're checking out of things and consistently making throws on the money on time. It was dissection. It was crazy. That was one of the big reasons I was on Alabama for this one. I was like, after what I saw Tennessee do and Joey Aguilar, I'm like, I thought Simpson played fine at Florida State. I think they kind of ran into a spot where they weren't as prepped as maybe they should be. They got some different things thrown at them. And then they kept him upright tonight. The Alabama offensive line showed up and did exactly what you asked them to do. And he sat there in the pocket and just made plays. He'd have more if we don't have another Ryan Williams drop, which is apparently an epidemic at this point in time. He's got 4 or 5 drops. Both, I guess, it kind of evens out, though. Georgia had one late, too, that probably just scratches each other out there. But just everything you want out of a kid to come in and after what you saw when you were running offense with Milroe, to bring him in and just see somebody play pro-style football and deliver a football consistently on time to really good receivers. You got to be over the moon if you are in Tuscaloosa right now.
Yeah,
we might feel like JP quote on a Caden Proctor catching a pass. This is a guy that was sexy. Higher at Iowa City.
We don't have any Caden Proctors in this city. Sorry about that. There's nobody by that name in this state.
Oh, no, you don't. Simpson is that guy. That's what I came away from this ball game thinking. It. When we previewed this game, I laid out, JP, a lot of the similar sentiments where it felt like the Florida State game was a week 1 landmine. You were not ready. You got punched in the mouth. You didn't know how to respond. You're not as bad as your worst week. You're not as good as your best week, right? It felt like that might have been Alabama's worst week right out of the gate, and now they had to respond. And Ty Simpson came in at 89% completion against some cupcakes. Whatever Wisconsin is, you can lump them in with that or not, but he was dealing. 89% completion does not just happen. And for him to be the perfect fit for this Ryan Grubb offense, to utilize those wide receivers that they have. Jeremy Bernard just continues to be automatic for the Tide. What a great addition that he's been from Washington as well. But I wondered the same thing. After what Tennessee put on tape, suddenly I started to think, oh, man, this Georgia's secondary might not be as good as what I thought they would be coming in. And more concerningly, guys, and I had to go check the box score just to make sure, Georgia is one of the worst teams in the country at getting the quarterback on the ground so far this year. And they only had 1 sack tonight. They had multiple opportunities. I felt like Alabama's offensive line in general played a lot better in this game, especially the tackles. But Georgia got to the pocket, blew the play up, and Ty Simpson, one of the areas that I needed to see improvement was when his spot gets taken over, how does he respond? He moved. He made the pocket mobile. He got out. He threw off platform. I was just really, really impressed with what Simpson put on the field tonight on the road in a loud environment with kind of everything stacked against you, including some of those wide receiver drops. And ultimately, he leads his team to a gritty 24-21 win. On the flip side, though, we've got to talk about Kirby chasing the points. Like, is there a way in your mind that you agreed with him in that spot, or were you screaming at your TV like I was?
I can't understand it whatsoever. I mean, why are you have an opportunity to tie. It's been tough to move the ball. Your quarterback, Stockton, finished with 130 pass yards. Like, he wasn't able to move the ball effectively through the game. You were running okay, so like maybe you think you can lean on that. But if I'm Kirby in the situation, I have to sit there and say, I don't know how many times we're going to be back down here. I got to find my way to tie it up because, and again, like they didn't have that opportunity. Like they didn't find their way back down there. So I don't understand the decision. Again, I'm disappointed in Georgia taking what I would assume is a step back. The defense looked better than what they did against Tennessee, but that offense, I mean, where was the offense we saw, chasing Tennessee down the field? I mean, is Tennessee's defense just that bad? Like, is that what we're saying is, maybe
that
Tennessee
secondary
can't
is
play defense?
banged
That
up.
might be what it is, right? Because when Stockton comes out here and he's not a difference maker anymore, that tells me, yeah, obviously Alabama stepped up to the test and they got better and they, after getting embarrassed week 1, decided to play physical again. Like, good for them, but at a certain point, you got to understand, you're the Georgia Bulldogs. You're supposed to do something, right? We're supposed to find our way back to physical football and not getting bullied around. So I just, man, I cannot understand why you're not taking points there.
I can see both sides. Live, I'm thinking, let's roll with the momentum. We got 14 and X amount of second or whatever. You have 14 and change left in the game. We're down here. We've had a long drive. Let's go get something. And then the problem was, I felt like, is once it didn't hit, it just felt like the air left the building. It's like kind of the gamble you play, right? Like, you roll the dice, we can light this place on fire, or the air comes out of the building, and then Alabama goes long drive, makes you drive farther down. You get no points. You pump back to them, and they just eat 4 minutes of clock off. It's kind of the game you play. I watch so much Iowa football. I'm so used to conservativeness that it kind of feels odd to be like, it kind of feels odd to be like, huh, like going for it there's not a crazy thought, like, so yeah. I can see both sides. I personally probably would have kicked it, but I don't think that is, it's not end all be all for me. I can see both sides without being mad at either side for the opinion on it.
It just felt like
partially.
Go. It felt like if you're on the road, sure, I think I'm okay with it. But being at home, Parks, I just felt like, man, I know your defense hasn't been a national championship level defense tonight, but it's still been pretty good. You're at home, you've got the advantage. Tie it up and let your defense go make a play.
I think it speaks to the game, right? Like, know your opponent, know the past, know the history, know what this team's done to you before. And maybe it's the Big Ten in us, JP, but I think any time you got points in you, to take the points, any chance, any opportunity you get inside there, and there's 3 points to be had, especially to tie the damn game, take it. And obviously we saw the flip side of things where it can go south really quick. You end up getting beat, and JP already mentioned it, by 11 minutes in time of possession, and 6 of it came off that drive where you didn't take 3 points. So you kind of built your own grave, dug your own grave there if you're Kirby Smart.
Yeah, I do love having a couple of Big Ten guys on who just enjoy every point as a gift up in Big Ten.
Got to grind it out up here.
That's right. Always a smart business decision to take those points. So looking forward for Alabama and Georgia, I want to scratch kind of the surface on what you think their ceiling is. Even though Georgia lost the game, guys, for me, one of the big things that I was curious to see how they would handle was their running game. And I do have a clip from our preview where I said I did not trust Georgia to get it done on the ground. Now, I was right in terms of the scoreboard, but when you open up the box score, 227 yards on the ground. Old Chauncey Bowens, 12 carries for $119 and a touchdown. He averaged just a smooth 9.9 a carry. So I think if there's one thing I'm taking away from this game from the Bulldogs, I think they're going to be fine. I think they're going to make the playoff. They're going to be right there. Plenty of SEC wins in store, because when the quarterback and the passing game left a lot to be desired, which we have not seen that from Gunnar Stockton in a big time spot so far this year, right? The opening game, sure, whatever. But against Tennessee, he answered the dang bell. This was the first time that I've kind of questioned what he might be able to produce on a week in, week out basis. But I was happy to see the offensive line stepped up and that running game picked up the slack to have their most explosive game of the season.
I found it odd that they didn't run Stockton as much. I thought I was going to get a lot of him in designs. He had 5 rushes. He's only sacked once, so it isn't like he was running for his life the whole night. When we were previewing this game, I said, like, I feel like that was kind of a key in some spots. Like, if they can get him moving and use him in the run game, maybe they didn't feel like they needed to because they were able to get 5, 6, 7 sometimes, and then they had a couple big ones late in there. But I thought I was getting more of his run game because I feel like if you make him sit in the pocket and beat you consistently, the Tennessee game feels like the outlier in his career, the short career to this point, right? He's not able to pick you apart consistently and just, move the ball down the field that way. But I don't think there's a true – I think their ceilings are both the same. Like, going back to your original question, these are both national title contenders. Like, these are both teams that could win a national title. Their floor, probably high floors. Like, you're looking at 9-3 as their floor probably, which, depending on this year, could be a playoff team. We don't know. It's a real possibility.
I think the way you ended that's perfect, right?
Yeah.
Like, we talk about 2025 college football. Where are these teams going to end up? Who the hell knows? Like, does anybody have any idea where these teams are going? This is so week to week. Did anybody have on their bingo card Alabama going 13 for 19 on third downs tonight? No. Did anybody have Georgia going 2 for 8 at home? No. What's going on? This sport is as confusing as ever, which is beautiful. But who goddamn knows where these teams will end up in week 12, which is great. But, like, going back to the Stockton thing quickly, he did run into a gauntlet of a secondary. Like, Alabama's still Alabama in some assets of their game, right? In some way, shape, or form, especially on the defensive side of the ball, they still have units that are of caliber as they were under that glory man, Nick Saban. But on the flip side, when are you going to run into that again if you're Gunnar Stockton, a secondary like that? Maybe mid-November when you play Texas? Probably outside of that, you got to see some deep development throughout the season to be ready for the rematch, because it feels like, I think JP's still right. Like, these are still national title contenders, but who the hell knows?
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes to your point, Parks, earlier about the letdown spots settling in. Obviously, this was not a letdown spot for either team, but the fact that I think it's so wide open, you got to take it week to week, because the second you pull a Florida State, which we'll talk about later on a Friday night, TCU got caught looking ahead too, maybe in a weird spot on the road. The moment that you get outside the box that you can control, the second that you can control, you could lose today, right? I mean, you're not going to have 3-4 teams going undefeated in all likelihood. It feels like the pool of teams that can make the playoff, even threaten, have a conversation about winning a national championship, I think is larger than ever, which is exciting, I think, for college football, exciting for the sport with all the pros and cons that come with that.